All right, guys, we're going to start talking about function notation. So function notation. Okay, so for an equation in x and y, the symbol f of x just simply replaces y and is read the value of the function at x, or simply f of x. So again, the main part you need to know is f of x is going to replace y. Okay, so here's like an example. So in this case, the input is this is your input. This is your x value. It stays the same. It's still x. X is still your input. Okay, so whatever you input in parentheses here, you're also going to input in parentheses here. Okay, the whole thing, this used to be y equals. Okay, this is also now going to be called the output. Okay, so the output was always y. But now it's f of x. Okay, so instead of f of x, it's y. Think of ordered pairs. When you're working through function notation, think of your ordered pairs. Okay, so you have x and y, but now it can be written as x comma f of x. Okay, so again, x is your input, f of x is your output, just like x was your input here and y was your output here. Okay. All right, so let's kind of look at some ordered pairs. So again, y is f of x. So you can use any letter to represent a function. It does not have to be f of x. Okay, and here in the examples, you have f of x, h of x, g of x, and k of x. Okay, so we're going to translate the following into statements into coordinate points. So in other words, ordered pairs. Okay, so again, f of x. So I like to label that -2 as my x. Okay, so again, my input here was -2, which is my x value, which gives me my output, which is 1. Okay, in this case, we would write our ordered pair as -2, 1. Okay, so again, in parentheses is your x value. Okay, what you get out after you put that in to whatever function rule you have. You get 1. So again, h of 8, so it's just like f of x, but in this case, we're using h. So h of 8. So my 8 is my x value, okay? And then so my y value would be 7. So if I write that as an ordered pair, I have 8, comma 7. Okay, again, you always write x, comma y, which in this case would be x, comma h of x. Okay, g of x. Okay, so there, my x value is 6 and my y value is -1. So I have 6, -1 as my ordered pair. Okay, last example, it looks a little bit different because they're switched a little bit. That's okay. So k of x, again, just like f of x. So my input is x. So my x is 6 and my y will be 1. If I was writing an ordered pair, I would get 6, comma 1. Okay, same thing for a graph. Okay, so you're looking on a graph, and this is f of, here it says -4. Well, all this means is f of x. Your x value is -4. So wherever x is -4, my ordered pair right here should be 2. So it should be 2. So my ordered pair gives me my x value and then my y value. Okay, so same thing, we're going to look at the next one. So f of 0 is 0. So my x value, when my x value is 0, basically it's asking you what is your y. So my y is 0. So that's my ordered pair. So moving along, we have f of x, which is f of 6. So when my x value is 6, what is my y value? Well, it's 0. Okay. F of 1 gives you, so where it says 1, -1, it's not always going to be on an ordered pair. You won't always see the little circles on there, but you can tell when you have 1. So my x value is 1. I look to see where it's at, so it'd be -1. So I can write that -1. Okay, so again, you're just thinking about ordered pairs, all you're doing. F of 8. So here's my graph, and it stops at 6. I don't have an 8 value, so you say it does not exist. Okay, f of x equals 3. This time I don't have my x, I have my y. So when my y value is 3, what is my x value? Okay, so look at this ordered pair. When my y value is 3, my x should be 5. Okay, last one, when my it says f of x equals -2. So when my y value is -2, we're looking for the x value. So my x equals 2. Okay, so that's how you do ordered pairs from a graph. All right, function notation, same thing using ordered pairs. So given the tables, let's find the function for f of x and h of x. Okay, so you have two tables. So f of -4. So this is my x value. So on the f table, so here's my f table. When my x value is -4, it's asking what is my y. So it equals 5. Okay, here's my ordered pair, -4, 5. When I have h of x, so h is 4. So when my x value is 4, I have 0 as my y. Okay, just keep on moving along. So f equals 0, x equals 0. So when you find it on your table, when x equals 0, what is my y value? My y value is 9. Again, just looking at the ordered pairs. So when you have 7 for the h of x, so your x value is 7. You have 5 as your output. Okay. You have f of x equals 7. This time you don't have your x value, you have your y value. So on your table, on your with your function f of x, your y is 7. So what is your x value there? It would be 3. Okay, so 3 comma 7. So f of x equals 7. Your x value is 3. H of x equals 5. I find where my y is 5. And my x value there would be 7. Same thing with a mapping. So this time the mapping given the function g of x. So thinking ordered pairs, x comma y or x comma g of x. So g of 4, so my 4 maps to my 5. So 4 comma 5 is my ordered pair. Okay, so 4 comma 5. G of 8, so you have your x value is 8. If you find your x value is 8, and that maps to 7. Okay, again, that maps to 7. You have g of 12, so 12 is your x. So when 12 is x, you have, it looks like that maps to a 7 as well. So you have 12 comma 7. So now you have g of x equals 6. That means, in other words, your y is 6. So when your y is 6, what is your x? Your x is also 6. Okay, g of x equals 9, meaning y equals 9. So you find it on your y and your output. And when that's y is 9, your x should be 14. All right, guys, so function notation, when you're evaluating, you're trying to find the values of something, you would actually put them in parentheses. So you have your f of x here, okay, and then you have your equation, 2x squared plus 1. It's very important that you put these in parentheses when you do them. I would move, so just to kind of see, you see how the x is pink in both? So you have, all right, guys, your function notation, you have f of x equals 2x squared plus 1. So again, you're thinking about your ordered pair. You're trying to find what your y is. So your input in this case would be x. So if I put an input of 4 right here, then I would also have to put 4 in parentheses on the other side. If I were doing this, I'd do 4 squared. So 4 times 2 is 16. So 2 times 16 is 32, plus 1 would be 33. So my ordered pair in this case would be 4, my x is 4, comma 33. Okay, so same thing, but now we're going to look at a -3. Okay, so here's the biggest thing. You got to really watch your signs. When you put a -3 in right here, you also would have to put it in, or any x value on the other side. So if I put that in right there, and just be really careful. I always put these in parentheses because a negative times a negative is a positive, but if you put in the calculator wrong, it'll give you the wrong answer, so be extra careful there. Negative 3 squared is 9, so that means negative 3 times negative 3, so that's 9 times 2, which is 18, plus 1 is 19, okay? So you have x is negative 3, and then y would be 19. All right, let me give you guys an example. Using the function rule, f of x equals negative 3x minus 2, find f of 2. Okay, so in this case, 2 is your x value. So step 1, just plug in 2 everywhere you see an x. So I have f of x equals negative 3x minus 2, so I'm plugging in my 2 for that value. Okay, so be extra careful about your signs, your negatives and positives. So now you're just going to evaluate, okay? So now you have 2 minus 2, which is 0, and the negative 3 times 0 is 0. So you have f of 2 equals 0. Well, think of that as an ordered pair, okay? Remember x comma y, which is x f of x. So now you have 2 comma 0 as your ordered pair.